Lauren, I hate myself.
Why? Why now?
Because I'm about to show you a video called My Teacher Got Me Pregnant, but He Doesn't Love Me.
Oh God, why? Why are you putting me through this?
This is just one of those things, okay? People like to watch them, okay?
This is your guy's fault.
Oh my goodness.
You watching this right now.
Oh, here we go.
Have you ever done something truly evil and destroyed someone's whole life?
No!
Let's just say no.
This is like those things like, isn't this so relatable? I'm a terrible person. And you're like, no.
I don't think so, but keep going.
Well, I have. I was 19 and about to graduate from high school.
19 in high school? I was 18. Were you 18?
Yeah, she must have stayed back.
On the bright side, this makes it legal, because at first I was like, yikers.
I feel better than now.
But then my math teacher, Mr. Cumberbatch, told me I'd failed his class and would have to repeat the year. I was devastated because I had already made plans to go to college, so I started crying and begged him to show mercy.
Oh no, I don't like where this is going.
First of all, I don't like where this is going either. Second of all, you usually apply for university when you're like halfway through the year. So like if she's already making plans for college, that means she got in already.
I mean, you already know that you're doing decent enough to be able to go to college.
Yeah, you don't just fail out of nowhere. This guy must have failed her out of nowhere.
He also looks like he hasn't slept much. I don't trust him.
I don't trust him either. Let's see what he has to say.
But he said, no, and shook his head.
No.
No.
I gave him a big hug and said, please, Mr. Cumberbatch, isn't there
the
anything I can
ankles.
do? He pushed me away and said, no, it's too late now. But I showed persistence.
Oh God!
Girl, stand up. Stand up. We know where this is going.
I can't right now. What is happening?
Lauren, keep watching.
I'm trying.
Please, Mr. Cumberbatch, isn't there anything I can do for you?
No.
Finally, he had a change of heart and wrote down an address on a paper and said, okay, come here on Saturday, 6 p.m. We will do some math exercises, and if you do well, I will change your grade and let you pass.
You wouldn't change an F to an A. You'd change it to like a C.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Come over my house and maybe we'll change your grade to an A.
Hopefully Mr. Cumberbatch is a nice man when they get to his house.
Yeah, guys, don't go to your teacher's house.
I gave him one last hug and said, thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch, you are the best.
Is he though?
When Saturday arrived, I was very nervous. I didn't know if I was going on a date or if I was getting a private math lesson.
What do you mean? First of all, why is her mind going there? It seems like Mr. Cumberbatch was just like, oh, like you fail. I mean, okay, you can come to my house if you want. And she's like, is this a date or what's going on?
This is all on this girl. I feel like the teacher's been like, no, I don't want this. Okay, we'll do this one thing, but it's totally professional. And she's like, is it a date?
I hope that it's not a situation where she's not actually smart enough to pass, so she like comes up with a creative way to pass, if you know what I mean.
Just to be sure, I dressed myself up.
Oh my God.
I put on my old school uniform, but made a few changes to look as exciting as possible.
Oh my God. Oh, the top button.
Oh, the top button's down.
We know what's going on.
Lauren, have you ever had a crush on a teacher?
Yes.
I have too, but I would never.
If they were like, oh, can you stay after class? I wouldn't be like, is this a date?
When I was in university, I was like, I like my teacher, but I never went to office hours because I was scared.
Come in, you're looking gorgeous today.
Oh no!
We sat down at a desk and he told me to solve some math problems.
Okay, this is like at his house. Why is he wearing his like tie and everything? Why can't he just like wear his Sunday night football outfit?
He can't relax. This is just how he is.
This is Mr. Cumberbatch. He's very strict.
Mr. Cumberbatch was so close to me and I realized how attractive he was.
Ah!
I was 19 and he was only 10 years older than me.
She only just realized though.
What turned me on the most was the authority he had over me.
Okay.
No, girl.
Ha! Whew.
They went there.
They did go there. I don't know if I like that. In fact, I definitely don't. Anyways.
I just stared into his eyes and hoped he would kiss me.
Oh my
And I
God.
guess he was too nervous. So instead, I kissed him.
Oh my God, she did it.
A teacher-student relationship was strictly prohibited, but that's what made it so exciting.
Is she gonna report him and like ruin his life or what?
Maybe because he doesn't love her.
What if he's like, girl, you're still failing, by the way?
When we said goodbye to each other, I asked him if I had studied enough to pass the year, and he said, you have worked very hard today, and therefore I will let you pass.
Ew.
I said, thank you, Mr. Cumberbatch.
Wait, how do you make up for like 6 months of failing in one afternoon if you were kissing half of the time?
That's how you make up for it.
2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant.
I'm out of here.
This moved so fast. Oh my God. That's how she passed, Cassie.
The next day, I went up to him at school to tell him about the baby. I secretly hoped we would become a couple. But when he heard the news, he got angry and said, you will go to the pharmacy right now and get the pill. I didn't like the way he talked to me.
Oh my God.
This was my body and therefore my decision. I asked him if he was interested in raising the baby with me.
Girl.
Sometimes it's all you can say, isn't it? Just, girl, like, yikers.
It's just us going, girl.
You know, that's why I was reluctant to kind of watch this in the first place, because the last couple times I did it, like after, I was like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I already have a wife and kid.
No!
Oh my God, it's getting worse.
Everyone in this story sucks bad.
Yeah.
So badly.
The only person I like is the new baby. Because it's done nothing wrong.
You're married? Of course. And don't act like you didn't know. All my students know I have a wife and kid. Wow, what a jerk. Not only did he betray his wife, but now he was trying to put the blame on me. I got angry and said, I will keep the baby and tell your wife what you did. That's when he almost had a seizure and screamed right at me, you won't do that. But then I had an idea. I knew I would keep the baby anyway, but at least I could pretend to make a deal with him. I said, if you turn all my grades into straight A's,
Look at the face.
I don't think that a mathematics teacher has the authority to change all of these to straight A's. And secondly, if you're already pregnant, you've taken a pregnancy test, that means you've been pregnant for a while. The morning after pill isn't gonna do anything.
Oh no.
The fact that I can't believe this, and the fact that somebody wrote this, it's making me ill.
It's either a really young person or a guy that does not understand.
It's men writing women, okay?
Mr. Cumberbatch was desperate. He agreed to the deal and snuck into our school at night to change my grades on the principal's computer. But 2 days
my
later, on my
God.
graduation day, things went wrong.
More wrong?
When my principal handed over my report card, he took a quick look at it and said, there must have been a mistake. I immediately knew my plan had failed.
Plan failed. I thought that was a fart.
Where? Oh yeah!
It's because it's where her plans come from.
The only A I got was in Mr. Cumberbatch's math class.
Mathematics A!
You were a straight C student. Why didn't you at least get the math teacher to forge plausible grades?
Yeah, this looks very suspicious.
I knew it wasn't his fault, but I was so angry, I found out his address and went to his house. A woman opened the door, and she was pregnant too. I asked her if she was the wife of Mr. Cumberbatch, and she said yes. Then Mr. Cumberbatch appeared next to her. He stared at me in a very threatening way. For a moment, I had doubts, but then I looked straight into her eyes and said, your husband got me pregnant, and he has no interest in taking responsibility for his mistake.
Oh, she's ruining lives now!
On the one hand, the husband deserves it. He cheated, but this girl is really a piece of work.
Look how much she's like loving it. She's like, yes, she was pissed about it.
I'm not going to college, and your husband's not going to live a happy life. Neither are you.
I hoped she would get angry at her husband, but instead she got angry at me.
Oh! This is a very common thing. This is the reason why, like, when you hear that somebody cheated on somebody else, you gotta be really careful, because it's often the case that the person will be mad at you and not the person who cheated. This girl better watch out.
If Mr. Cumberbatch hadn't held her back from me, I might not be alive today. I was shocked and went back home, but it got worse. The next day, she came to my house and used a golf club to break in through a window.
Oh, girl, you're pregnant. Get some rest.
Crazy pregnant women everywhere.
This is crazy.
So I fled to the rooftop and called the police.
Oh
They
my
arrived
God.
in time and took Mrs. Cumberbatch into custody. 2 weeks later, she was sentenced to 24 months in prison.
Whoa, you got a pregnant lady sentenced to 2 years in prison.
She's gonna have her baby in jail now.
Oh!
And not be there for the first year of its life.
Oh! What happens if you have a baby in jail? Can you, like, have it with you?
There's actually a real animated story that said, I gave birth in jail, so if you want to know.
Oh, there's prison nurseries. That's cute.
They get to have their baby for the first little bit.
I assume they wouldn't get to sleep with them, though.
I called up Mr. Cumberbatch and told him we needed to talk. We met at a restaurant and I asked him, how much child support will you pay me each month? He responded, I'm only a teacher. I don't make much money. But I asked again, how much child support are you going to pay me? He said, look, my pregnant wife is in prison and we both know she is insane. I will divorce her as soon as possible and I'd like you to come live with me.
What?
Okay. He's like, well, my life's in prison now for 2 years, so...
This guy just said, I'm a teacher, so I can't afford child support, but he's gonna have to pay child support for his pregnant wife. If he wanted to, he could get custody of the pregnant wife's kid.
Yeah, none of this is making any sense. He has to pay child support regardless. He's like, well, I get a younger girl out of this.
But after my daughter was born, I had to take care of both her and Mr. Cumberbatch's other baby.
Makes sense.
At first, I didn't mind. I loved them both. But then I saw how Mr. Cumberbatch preferred his other daughter over mine.
Are you jealous now, too? Could this get any more problematic than it is?
But my baby is cuter than your other baby.
Just let him love his kid or...
I know.
Oh, jeez.
He spent more time with her and treated her so much better. Every morning, he said to her, "Hey, sweetie, good morning. I love you so much."
That's nice.
And then he completely ignored my daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
I
weird.
had to admit that she was the perfect child. Extremely
Was she?
beautiful and very smart. Much smarter than my daughter. At age 2, she already spoke fluently.
What did your
I
daughter
often
say?
screamed at Mr. Cumberbatch, telling him to treat them equally, but he never did. At one point, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to a lawyer and asked him how much the father of my child had to pay me in child support on a $40,000 teacher salary. He told me to expect at least $1,000 per month. That was a good amount, but I knew I could do better.
What? I'm sick. I'm dying.
Are you getting that feeling that you always get at the end
Yeah.
of these stories?
Yeah. Oh.
It just keeps escalating.
This is gut-wrenching. I hope for the sake of everything that this isn't true. This is why it's so weird, is because it like makes you think about the world and it's like,
Oh, I'm sure this definitely has happened. I'm not gonna say that this is not true. Maybe to the extent.
This story isn't true, but this kind of stuff does happen.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I will move out, but I expect you to pay me $2,000 in child support each month. Of course, he told me he didn't have enough money to do that.
Yeah, that's like half his salary a year.
If you don't pay me the money, I will tell the school authorities that you got me pregnant while I was one of your students.
Oh.
I'm sure they will fire you for that.
Oh, they will.
He got angry and said, "How stupid are you? If I'm gonna lose my job, then how am I gonna pay your child support?"
Yeah,
I responded, "You are demanded by the law to pay my child support anyway. If you don't, you will go to prison just like your wife." You are insane. All you women are insane.
Hey!
Hey.
Don't lump us in together with this girl. I'm offended now.
Hey, I am extremely offended by that statement, and I agree with her. No, I'm just kidding.
I told him to get a second job, and we figured he could tutor kids to afford the $2,500 in child support.
For the next 18 years. Good for him.
Meanwhile, I moved back in with my parents, and life became much easier for me. Right now, my mom takes care of my daughter while I'm going to college. With the $2,500 Mr. Cumberbatch sends me each month, I have enough money to feed my daughter and party through the weekends.
Oh my god! I knew it! I was like, what's she doing with all the money then if she's not really at home?
If this girl wrote in to share my story, I feel like she would try to make herself look like an angel. I
Yeah.
feel like she wouldn't say I have enough money to party through the weekends. I feel like this was designed to bring engagement.
This girl is acting like she isn't the crazy one, is like one of the first comments.
The engagement here is insane. And I think it's because this girl is insane. The guy is insane. They're both wrong in every conceivable way, and it makes you mad.
I guess you don't feel bad for anybody in this situation.
Mr. Cumberbatch had to move into a cheaper and smaller house. He couldn't afford his old rent anymore. I knew it was wrong, but for some reason, I deeply enjoyed seeing Mr. Cumberbatch suffer.
Oh my god.
He was back with Mrs. Cumberbatch. I was still envious of their daughter. I didn't think they deserved such a perfect child.
What does that have anything to do with you?
Yeah, I know. Is she gonna kidnap this girl?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. So I took the other girl and threw her in the trash.
The other girl is better than my daughter, so I'm gonna swap them.
So one night, after I came back
no.
from a college party, I did something terrible. I
Oh,
put a bunch
God.
of photos of me holding Mrs. Cumberbatch's daughter on a USB stick, put it in an envelope, and sent it to their new home. I
Oh
wanted to
my
let
God.
Mrs. Cumberbatch know that her husband and I had been living together while she was in prison.
Oh, that face. I would hope that he told her what he did and that Mrs. Cumberbatch had at least a clue of what happened.
I'd hoped
Yeah.
she'd get angry and break into my house so the police could arrest her again.
Oh my god.
Why would you hope for that?
I took it one step further.
Oh
When
my
it was time to
god.
receive my next child support check, I went to their home to pick it up personally. Mrs. Cumberbatch opened the door looking shocked to see me. "I want to pick up my child child support check in person. What are you talking about? Your husband didn't tell you? He pays me $2,000 per month in child support.
Mr. Cumberbatch really needs to start telling the truth for once, because like this is just an absolute disaster, and this girl's like horrible plans are working out just because this guy is a pathological liar. The moment he starts telling the truth is the moment where he's free from her horrible games.
If he would have just told his wife, she already knows that he got somebody else pregnant. Oh my god. This girl is not learning any lessons because everything's working out for her and it shouldn't.
I saw she was getting angry. And then her daughter came to the door and saw me. She immediately started screaming out of joy and ran up to me. Her mother said, "Don't touch her." But I didn't care. I picked her up and said, "Oh, there's my baby. Mama is back now." Her mother took her out of my arms and screamed at me, "You dirty little girl! All you do is destroy happy families!" I responded, "If you're such a happy family, why didn't your husband tell you he's paying another girl $2,000 a month in child support?"
Can we not have this conversation in front of the kids, please? Send the kid off to the playground and then have this conversation.
Right. And where is he anyway? I'm sure he wants to sleep with me again.
Oh!
You better not come here again, or it will be your last time. You better be careful your husband doesn't get another girl pregnant. He really doesn't care about you. That's when she suddenly ran into her apartment. I was afraid she was getting a knife, so I quickly got out of there ASAP.
Yeah, I would've.
But on my way home, I felt weird. Like I had done something wrong.
Wait, this is the first time in your whole life you feel like you've done something wrong.
I felt weird. What's this feeling?
What is this feeling I feel? I've never felt this before. That's guilt, honey. No, I think I'm just hungry.
It seemed that Mrs. Cumberbatch had matured and was really trying her best to make things work. Meanwhile, I was the one trying to destroy their family and making everyone miserable. I knew I'd messed up, and that's why I decided not to bother them anymore. I still receive my child support checks, but now I fully focus on my daughter and on college.
I feel like there should have been more lessons learned at the end of that, but
yeah, I mean, at least there was a lesson learned.
Don't be a horrible person, because you might feel bad.
She had a daughter of her own, and all she did was care about messing up another family. Even though she was getting the money, like, get over it.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren, that was sufficiently disgusting, so I think we should go to your channel and maybe watch one that is less disgusting? Who knows?
Maybe, but probably not.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you'd ever like to see me again, make sure you hit push notifications, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!